What is TB-500? Well, your body already makes the most powerful healing molecule on the planet. Most people just don't have enough of it. It's not a claim, but it's your biology deep inside you, in your blood platelets, in your wound fluid, in virtually every tissue of your body. There's this 43 amino acid peptide that the moment you suffer an injury, it floods the area and it begins orchestrating one of the most sophisticated repair processes in all nature. It regulates cell migration, it drives new blood vessel formation, it reduces scarring, it fights neural inflammation, and in research setting, it's shown to potentially repair heart tissue after a heart attack and restore function in the central nervous system. So this compound is known as thymosin beta-4, but there's a synthetic version that's used clinically called TB-500, and this is a fragment of the full 43 amino acid complex. It may be one of the most underappreciated peptides in the entire longevity and regenerative medicine toolkit, but your body has this system built in. And so why do so many people heal slowly and incompletely with so much scar tissue? Why do injuries linger? Why does recovery take longer? You'll notice that in every passing year. But what happens when the body gets more of what it's already trying to use? That's what we're going to explore in the video today. I'm Regan Archibald. I'm the founder of Ageless Future. And we believe that you can look, feel, and perform your best at any age. We use peptides as the leverage point to help you get that natural expression that you had when you were younger. And so thymosin beta-4 has been around a long time. And in the 1960s, when researchers were studying the thymus gland, they found that there's this small organ above your heart that plays a central role in immune development. And they began identifying these family of proteins, or these short chains of amino acids called peptides, and they named them thymosins because it was after the thymus gland. That's where they're found. And the thymus gland is critical for T cell maturations, and scientists believe that thymosins were primarily immunoregulatory compounds. And so thymosin beta-4 was eventually isolated as one of the biological techniques improved and found to be present not just in the thymic tissue, but everywhere. They found it in your blood platelets. They found it in wound fluids. They found it in every organ and tissue, and it contained meaningful concentrations. This was the first hint that thymosin beta-4's role may be broader than what we originally thought. So thymosin beta-4 is one of the first genes that gets upregulated after a wound occurs. And we've all experienced that, where you have a cut and all of a sudden, you see it just heal without you really doing anything. And so the way that your body responds to any injury before this full inflammatory cascade kicks in, before the clotting process is complete, before scar tissue forms, is call in thymosin beta-4. These are your intelligent engineers that once they're released, they can go in and they can tell your body exactly what it needs to do to recover. It's like the intelligent spark in the whole healing process. And that's foundational to every repair process. It's not a secondary signal. It's not the cleanup crew. This is the first responder team, and this compound shows up and says, hey, I notice you've been injured. Let's start rebuilding. But yet, if the system that exists is so fundamental, why do we see so much incomplete healing? Why so much chronic injury? You're like, Regan, if this thymosin beta-4 is actually there, I have this injury that's 3 years old. Well, I think the answer is in part that thymosin beta-4 levels, they decline as we get older. And immunosenescence is one of the 12 hallmarks of aging, and it can show up in earlier and earlier time based on your environmental exposures, based on the levels of stress in your body. And so that's one of the reasons why these chronic injuries in modern day, and I think part of the body's natural reserves, is to figure out ways that you can activate the compound known as thymosin beta-4, because when your body has more demand than you have supply of thymosin beta-4, then you get these serious injuries that turn into chronic injuries and then aging, because the repair system is running below capacity. It's almost like you have a factory, but you don't have enough workers to run the machinery, and so things get backed up. And so thymosin beta-4, or TB-500, it's not a growth factor. A lot of people, they have this misconception right at the start of the biology. And so I say this because it's easy to assume, given the effects of thymosin beta-4, that it's doing much of what IGF-1 would do or growth hormone does, telling the cells when to divide and grow, but that's not what's happening. Thymosin beta-4 at its core is an actin-regulating peptide, and understanding what that means unlocks everything else. So actin is this protein that forms the structural skeleton of your cells. It's what gives your cells their shape, allows them to move, enables them to divide, and when actin is properly regulated, it can rapidly polymerize and depolymerize. And so now your cells are mobile. They can migrate to where they're needed, they can change their shape, they can respond to signals. When actin regulation is impaired, now your cells become more rigid, slow, and unresponsive. And so TB-500 works by sequestering the G-actin. This is that monomeric form of actin, and regulating its availability for polymerization. This allows the cytoskeleton, the inside of your cell, to be dramatically remodeled, which is a prerequisite for cell migration. And cell migration, if you think of stem cell exhaustion, that's another one of the 12 hallmarks of aging. That's when we start to age. And what thymosin beta-4 can do, especially if you've had any kind of regenerative medicine, is you're going to get more cell migration to the area. And so really important to stack those two therapies. And here's why that matters. When you have an injury, you would need the cells there to repair it. What cells are those? Well, primarily your endothelial cells, your keratinocytes, your fibroblasts. You want those to physically move from surrounding the tissue and into the wound. They need to migrate. And the speed and efficiency of that migration is one of the primary determinants of how quickly and how well your injury heals. So thymosin beta-4, it accelerates and enhances the process. If you think of what else thymosin beta-4 does, or TB-500, is it promotes the formation of blood vessels. And so you get this migration of endothelial cells, the formation of new capillaries into the damaged tissue. And that's important because every healing tissue is dependent on blood supply, oxygen, nutrients, and the removal of inflammatory waste. Without adequate angiogenesis, you'll have incomplete healing. You'll have what's called hypoxic tissue, poor functional recovery. There's something that's even more important for long-term health outcomes is TB-500 reduces fibrosis, and it does it by decreasing the myofibroblast activity. And myofibroblasts are these cells responsible for scar tissue formation. Now, this is one of the most interesting things in the research where they've looked at thymosin beta-4 in people who have suffered from a cardiovascular event. And what you'll find if you've had a heart attack is that cardiac muscle, it gets fibrosis in it, it gets stiff. And it's poorly functional scar tissue that replaces normal tissue because you've had that hypoxic event, lack of oxygen there, and then you have that ischemia. And so thymosin beta-4 helps push the balance of these myofibroblasts, these driven fibrosis, towards this clean, organized tissue, less scarring, better function. And there's been a lot of human studies on TB-500. I know we talk about the Wolverine stack where you add in, TB-500 with BPC. TB-500, because it was discovered so long ago, there has been more human clinical data. And this is one of the things we see where it can be very beneficial is not just in the heart, but even in neurological applications. So TB-500, it upregulates this microRNA 146A. This specific microRNA is a potent suppressor of neural inflammation. So it promotes myelin production. Think of that protective sheath around your nerves that's essential for signaling conduction. And if you think like MS or multiple sclerosis, that's where that tissue starts to get degraded. So in neurological injuries and degradation, this microRNA 146A upregulation could be profoundly important. Some clinical applications and research of TB-500 is pointed towards this. But this peptide, because it is so powerful, we're seeing that, yes, it can help neurologically, it helps your body heal, it keeps you younger. And then, you think of that protection for your heart, even if you've had this myocardial infarction, which is one of the most severe types of a heart attack, it does seem to help promote better flexibility in the heart. It helps remodel the heart, so you have better activity in the heart and less fibrosis. So thymosin beta-4, while there's much more that we need to learn about it, it does seem to be something that can be very beneficial. If you're somebody who is like me, you want to live to be like 222 and then die in a young body at a very old age and quickly, That's my goal for everyone we work with, not to die, but just to have a young body at the end of your life where you can do the things you love. So I appreciate you tuning in. If you love this video, make sure you send it to a friend, a colleague. Leave your comments below on your thoughts on TB-500 or thymosin beta-4. I'll see you on the next video.